Okay, so today we are talking about wellness trends. Are they hot or are they not? We have a bunch of different categories. So today we're going to be talking about wellness trends that we've tried, we haven't tried, and what we will try and report back on next episode and let you know, are they hot or are they not? So I'm just going to get right into it. The first one is physical and recovery trends, and it is cold plunges and ice baths. Now, first off, I have actually done cold showers. I've done cold plunges and ice baths, and I can tell you right off the bat that this actually is a very good recovery. It feels great. I'll give you a little more context here. I used to go to this one place in Chicago. It was almost like a bathhouse, a Russian bathhouse, and you go in a steam room and you sit there as long as possible, and then you go into an ice cold bath. Like they had freezing cold water with ice in it, and then you go back into the sauna, back into the ice, and you feel so great. I mean, your body feels it feels like a bar of soap. It feels so good, and you feel so rejuvenated. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, whether or not this one is a hot or this one is a not topic.
How did I know you were going to start with this one, Evan? This one is a hard no for me. A warm-blooded mammal. I absolutely hate the cold. I've got thyroid issues, which make being cold just absolutely traumatic for me. Winter's my worst. I get cold so easily, and I am never trying it. Sorry.
So that sounds like a not. That sounds like a not. I am coming to you all from the cold rain right now. So that I feel like you're reading my mind. And look, well, first of all, we have to say to everybody in the audience, use cold plunges and so forth with caution and consult with your doctor, because cold is relative. It could be very cold, it could be too cold, and et cetera, et cetera. That said, there seems to be a lot of good research on this. People do it for a reason. I'm like Flick, right? Where I am, if I want to be in a good mood, I'm probably not going to jump in a cold tank or something like that. But I am a pretty long time surfer at this point. And when you surf in California, you are surfing in the cold. So pretty quickly you get used to plunging into very cold water. It's the hardest part about your surf session. That first plunge, and it's like, oh, do I do it all at once, or do I go in the water slowly? And I just find anecdotally that the quicker you jump in, and this is granted, this is only like 60 something degrees, so it gets colder, but the quicker you jump in, the better you feel, and the more energy you get in that particular session. So I'm going to say a reluctant hot, even though it's cold. I don't seek this out. If it's good for you, I should probably do it more than I do. But I'd say the cold is hot.
I'm going to go out there, and I do agree with both of you on, I don't like to do this. I prefer not to do this because it like takes your breath away. But when you actually do it, you finish it, you're like, whoa, I feel like I had like 10 caffeines. Like I feel great. And then you have like energy throughout the day. So it's one of those things where I wish I could do more, but I just don't do. And I refuse to. Like sometimes if I really want to get crazy, I'll turn my shower on cold for like 5 seconds, and then I'll turn it back to hot. And I'm like, yeah, there we go. That's my cold plunge right there. But yeah, I'm going to say it is hot, but it is also quite cold. All right, so the next one is,
and can everyone please exercise extreme caution again? The caution. And the only reason is because, like, for some cryo wellness techniques and stuff, and some cold plunge techniques have caused people problems. So and cold is relative. Some people are talking about sub-zero temperatures, sub-freezing temperatures. I'm talking about surfing in the Pacific at 60 degrees. So there's a wide range.
100%. Yeah. And you actually touched on it. The next topic was cryotherapy chambers. I have not done one of these. I've seen these. I feel like these are more, in my opinion, they feel more gimmicky. But I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions, because I always see, I've had friends that go into them. I've seen it on TV and YouTube where people go in, they come out, and it's 10 minutes later or something, it's all smoky, and they're like, oh, wow, feels great. But I feel like it's almost more of an experience than an actual health improvement type of therapy.
Okay, I'll go. I will say I have no experience with this other than the movie Demolition Man, in which Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone are cryogenically frozen. They do this for many years. So like, it seems that people in real life only do this for a few seconds, right? 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Based on this film, that seems better. But, and I'm obviously joking. So I don't know. Would I try this? I'll put it like this. It's so expensive that it's not really on my short-term to-do list anyways. So I think I just get a pass on that.
Yeah, this involves freezing cold temperatures again, right? So, yeah, I'm out. I've never tried it. Don't know much about it. Don't really care to know much about it. Yeah, as blunt as that, I'm afraid.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm totally with you. It is. I'm also with Sean on the price. I just don't see the price versus the benefit. I feel like if I wanted something cold, I'll just take a cold shower, and that will be my cryotherapy-genic chamber for the day. But and then you have to go to a place, a facility. It's a lot of work, a lot of money for a short little time. So we're going to move on to something that maybe pique Claire's interest. This one is red light therapy. It's a little warmer. It's actually good for the skin. Oh, apparently it's good for the skin, mood, recovery, or is it just a placebo effect? Now, I have not tried red light therapy. I know I've just seen something on YouTube where they claim this is good for you. Well, it's good for your skin. It's good for your mood. It's good for your health. I have never done this, but it's very popular across Asia. So I would love to hear your guys' opinions. Is it hot or is it not?
Yeah, I've tried it very briefly on some skin conditions. And I wouldn't necessarily say it was relaxing, but it helped. So yeah, I'd say hot, but not in the sense, it doesn't feel like a nice hot massage. It's just that I suppose it helped rejuvenate the skin.
So I have to say, this is on my to-do list to try. I haven't tried it, but what comes to mind, and the reason it puts a smile on my face, is the fantastic meme, because people are hilarious. Fantastic meme of, I think it's Brian Johnson doing his red light therapy on down days in the market, whether it's like the crypto market or the stock market or something like that. And it's just red. He's bathing in the red light therapy. So there you go. That hopefully we don't have another down day in the market and I have to do real red light therapy. But otherwise, if everything's tanking, then just do some red light therapy. Bask in the red.
We got to get right.
So I'll say this is hot. I'm going to try it, but I haven't done it yet.
I have been wanting to try this as well. I've seen it. It's everywhere here. So maybe this is something I will try this week, and I can report back maybe next week on this. I'll think about it. I'll look at the price first, and I'll watch a couple of Brian Johnson videos to see if he really approves it, since he's going to live forever. All right, so let's move on to something that's a little different here. It's compression boots and recovery tech. Now, I've seen my friend has these Nortec, I don't know, they press for, and he's not even an athlete, he just has these, and they're quite expensive, but something that is similar is when I go to a mall here, an airport here in Asia, or one of those massage chairs, they like squeeze your legs and it kind of just feels great. I don't know if it's the same technique or the compression, but I'm assuming it's like a light form of the actual compression. And I do actually feel like it really helps. It relaxes my legs a significant amount. And I'm assuming that compression boots definitely do work. I mean, I've seen athletes with them. So what do you guys think? Have you guys tried compression boots, socks, compression tech, recovery tech of any of that sort?
This may be TMI. I've tried it, but only after having babies. After having both my kids, I was put on compression socks, boots, I'm not sure, immediately, just to stimulate blood flow and prevent blood clotting and that sort of thing. So, I mean, it worked in that sense.
I've heard the same thing. I've heard the same thing for long flights, compression gear for flights. I think here's the thing, okay? What is the difference between okay, this is for athletic use. What is the difference between real compression clothes and like regular Under Armour? I don't know. I always wonder this. Playing basketball or doing any kind of heavy weightlifting, I wonder, am I wearing compression shorts or am I just wearing tights? And is this a question other people ask? What is there a real difference?
I'm actually curious myself, because I mean, I'm not an athlete. I'm not even athletic, even though some people may think I am. But I basically breathe heavy when I'm going down an elevator. So I am curious to see though if those do work, because I always get the impression that maybe it's a psychological problem, but when I have thick socks on or that are compressing my legs, I'm always like thinking I'm going to get a blood clot because of them. But apparently, as Claire just mentioned, that she used them to almost reduce it or to prevent that.
Yeah, it prevents.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. And
so I don't know how this works though.
Yeah,
and this feels like something that's. I feel like a lot of people know how it works, and just I don't.
So
I don't know.
My understanding, my basic, very Neanderthal, I suppose, understanding of it is that obviously gravity does its thing and pulls your blood down towards your feet. That's the easiest way for it to flow. So if you put on compression socks or compression boots, the idea is that you put them on with your feet up in the air so that the blood is flowing towards your heart. You put them on, and then by compressing your legs, you're sort of, I suppose, compressing the veins and helping the blood flow back up to your heart faster so that it's not all just sitting in your calves and in your feet. And your heart has to work hard to bring it back up your body. That's my understanding.
That is probably the best way to put it. So now I understand it to a sense. That's actually a really interesting thing. It's very interesting now. I'm going to lift my legs up tonight and see if I actually feel better. That's my cheap way of doing this. But yeah, that's actually, so I guess this is a hot trend. I guess this is the hot one.
I think I got to pull out the tights and see if these are no compression tights. I'm talking about like spin cycle, soul cycle, long distance cycling. We got to check. And it's like I mean me, because I think else is particularly interested in this.
You have to wear them for a week and let us know how the week progresses, if you feel better last week or the next week.
Okay, this is one we'll test. This is one I'll test. This is one, okay, I'm going to report back.
I suspect the part that's not hot is trying to get them on while laying on your back with your feet in the air and trying to put pants on that way so that the blood is running back down your leg. That part, not so hot.
Yeah. How compressed are they, Sean? Are they like a squeeze tight, or are they just kind of like an Under Armour shirt?
Unclear. This is what we don't know. And this is so the test. The first testing, the very scientific testing that I'm going to have to do is to determine, are these actually compression? Is this real compression technology happening? Right. So we go back in time. We go to the movie Robin Hood Men in Tights. Are these guys wearing real compression technology, or are these just tights? I don't know. If this is real compression, I can't do the test. So I'm gonna have to report back.
I also, maybe I'm just a hypochondriac. I don't know what it is, but I always heard this story of this guy that wore tight jeans, skinny jeans, which are basically compression jeans. And he actually died from a blood clot because I compressed. I don't know what happened, but so he got a blood clot because of it. So now I'm always hyper aware of the jeans I wear or how they're bent. And so I have to look this up. Maybe this was a myth back in the day. I think a one-off situation they wouldn't make all this compression gear and sportswear and athletes would wear it if it's prone to blood clotting so I think this seems like a hot topic. We will get back to you on this one next week. John will report.
Should we do another medical warning? I think we should do another medical.
Yes, of course.
That as it pertains to genes. Then the warning. So we should make a separate list of the medical warnings. We've got cold, plunges. Should we do a warning on? Well, we're voting no on cryo, so we don't really have to warn people. That's not an endorsement, because we're voting no on it. But with the genes, just medical warning: be careful about tight jeans.
Yeah, choose gene code jeans if you have them, and if not, you just avoid tight jeans, tight as possible jeans.
Yeah, just warning. Just wear jeans responsibly, and we're going to get back to you about the compression.
The new slogan for Levi: wear jeans responsibly. All right, so we're going to switch a little bit of gears here. We were at physical and recovery trends. Now we're going to move over to mind and productivity trends. We touched on this a couple of talks ago, but we're going to go over this a little bit more just to see if these are hot or not topics, as Sean, I believe, was not in that talk over there. So maybe like so the first one would be like 5-minute journaling, writing down gratitude journaling. Is this something that actually is good for the mind, the body, or is this just something that we think is good and we write down, gratitude journaling, what I'm happy about, what I'm thankful for? I would love to hear your guys' opinions.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people who do this and it works really well for them. I have tried it many years ago. For me, it's hard to stick to something like that. I don't know, I guess the day gets busy and I just don't do it. But having said that, I feel like I'm pretty good at the gratitude thing just in my mind and on a daily basis. I'm quite conscious of trying to find things that I'm grateful for and look out for just happiness in my life, I guess. So for me, I guess it's a half and half. I think I do it mentally more so than journaling it and feeling the need to constantly write these things down.
I love it. I mean, I got to say, I love this. I used to be better about it, but I do it when I can. I love it.
I'm going to go against the grain here, only because of personal bias. I'm going to say this one's not really my thing, due to the fact that I'm scared that if anyone finds my gratitude journal, I would be deeply embarrassed. So I would only, just because of personal embarrassment reasons, I would say not, but I think for a lot of people, this would help as a reminder to be gratitude and what they're thankful for, and it's better to see it on paper. So I would say hot for most people, but for my personal self, I would say not. Okay, so digital detox retreats. This is getting out of the doom scrolling, to take a break from social media, to maybe delete the app, to get out of it. And I am 100%, I think this is hot. This is definitely needed. I've done this many times. I remember deleting Facebook in 2013 and never got back on it since then. I've done this with TikTok. I've done this with Instagram. delete these apps sometimes, because sometimes I find myself that I'm doom scrolling. I'm like, what am I doing? Wasting so much time of watching other nonsense content that I'm taking away from my own life, where I could be actually making stuff, or I could be working and doing other productive things with my life. And so I am 100% think this is hot.
Yeah, I fully agree, hot. There are days where I wish everyone would delete it and we could all just pretend it never existed. Obviously, that's probably never going to happen. There's too much information sharing and things tied to your job and that sort of thing that keeping us attached to these things. But I fully agree. I think that we'd all be a lot healthier and mentally sound without it.
Same thing, huge fan. Get out there, get in the world, go into the woods, go hiking, unplug, and you don't have to unplug alone. Unplug around people you love. Spend quality time together. This is definitely a hot trend. It's also not a trend. This is the way people have lived for thousands of years, and we got to factor that in, right? That a lot of happiness comes from just being around people and engaging with the environment. These devices are very new.
Yeah, so this is a hot topic. There's no warning on this. There's going to be, the warning is you might actually feel much happier about life because you don't see, all this fake stuff online, and you actually get to experience the real world. So 100% digital detox retreats is hot. Now, sleep optimization gadgets. These are the Whoop, the smart rings, the Apple Watches, these little devices that kind of coexist with us now, where we use them to determine our health. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that I am between hot and cold with this. I think this is, as I mentioned before, I'm somewhat of a hypochondriac. Once I start thinking of something, I see, I'll find a mole on my skin, and then all of a sudden I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I should go get that checked out. And then I think, I'm like, oh, here we go. I got cancer. They're going to tell me bad news. My mind spirals out of control. And I've had an Apple Watch, and sometimes it would tell me when I'm sleeping that my heartbeat would drop to like 40 beats per minute. And then I chat GPT it, and I'm like, oh no, I'm probably going to die. And then sometimes I get a warning. It says, your heartbeat's over 110 and you've been sitting, what's going on? And so I think, humans have lived for so long. I see some people, I see people in, third world countries that are living to 100 years old. They don't have smart gadgets. So I think it's good to be health conscious and understand your body and understand what's going on. And I'm sure a lot of these have saved lives. But it almost stimulates us with information that we don't necessarily need. We just have to eat healthy, work out, or just walk a bit, get our body moving. And I think that's truly, we've survived for thousands or hundreds of thousands of years or on this system, and we just started getting smartwatches within 10 years ago. Or 10, 15 years ago. So this is kind of a bit in between hot and cold for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree, probably leaning more towards cold. I guess they have their place. For me, personally, this might be controversial opinion, but for me, it's a bit gimmicky. And I have quite a lot of skepticism around these sort of things and their accuracy. And I think that freaks me out more than anything. I feel like if I had one, I'd be constantly checking it out and overthinking it. And I think it would probably cause me to spiral more than give me peace. I'm not quite the same thing, but I've been offered a very trendy little sleeping mat for babies where they sleep on it and then it notifies you if they stop breathing or if they're moving or, like crazy, like if your child's not breathing, it notifies you. And I've just heard too many crazy stories about it notifying you accidentally multiple times a night. And it's that sort of thing that just freaks me out and makes me feel like, do we really need gadgets for these sort of things? Or is this just a huge marketing ploy and a money-making conspiracy?
Well, I will say, my instincts lean toward you two, in that this is something that it's like a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem. If you go to sleep with the sunset and you wake up with the sunrise, you're probably not going to need a good sleep tracker because your body's going to be super happy. You're going to have a great circadian rhythm. Now that we're off those natural rhythms, it is helpful to know what's happening when. I use an Oura ring, and it's pretty good at letting me know, okay, this is when I'm in deep sleep, this is when I'm in REM sleep, and of course, assuming that it's accurate. And then it's good to know my pulse is in a certain range. So I do like the Oura ring. And I will say, I don't use a smartwatch, but anecdotally, I did hear, I think it was a family member of a friend of a friend was alerted to, I think it was some kind of cardiac emergency because of the smartwatch. And it said, hey, you're having such and such emergency right now. I think it was accurate. So if you're someone who is in risk categories for certain things, you might want to consider it. I would use one. And I'll just end on this. What gets overlooked here is with a lot of these smart wearable devices, there's ongoing Bluetooth interactivity with another device, like a parent device. And so while it is good to track various health metrics, no matter how you do it, right? You could just be writing things down in a journal every day, taking your pulse or your blood pressure and writing it down. You don't want, at least I think, you don't want it to be counterproductive where you're getting all this data, but you're also surrounded by Bluetooth exposure nonstop. I do think that, I don't know what impact it has, but I do think it could have some kind of impact that is measurable down the line. So I try to, like with my Oura ring, I don't have it connected. I just manually, when I charge it, it downloads the data, but I don't have it running on Bluetooth. And I probably wouldn't wear an Apple Watch for that reason.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd touch on it. I think I would say it's hot for if you're going on like a ski trip or doing something that's in the hiking or something that's more adventurous, something that there's a lot more risk. I think if you're just walking around every day, I would say not. I had an Apple Watch and I just charging it every day, and it just gave me more anxiety than anything I need. I don't need to look on alert on my phone, on my watch first before I'm like, oh, I got a text, and then I'll go look at my phone. Nothing's that important that I need to immediately see it buzzing. I think it just gives more anxiety than it needs. But as Sean stated, for high risk people, I do think that it is necessary. I mean, there was this thing called Life Alert back in the day. If you ever seen commercials, you saw this old lady grab her chest and she pushes this button, and then an ambulance shows up instantly. And I think this is the new Life Alert. So yeah, I think it is good for certain people. So it's hot for a category of people, but I think it's not for most if you're in the healthy range and you take care of yourself. But choose wisely, choose what works for you. But now we're going to go into no caffeine challenges. Now, for me, I used to drink Red Bull every day. And that obviously I'm still here miraculously. And I've switched to coffee, but I find that now I drink I don't drink all the black coffee. I drink the mocha chocolate, those kind of coffees. But I find that when I don't, I need a coffee every day. It's definitely a stimulant. I've tried to go days without it but I just feel like my energy level is much lower. But over time, I heard that having no coffee is great for you. And so I wonder if any of you have done like a no coffee challenge, or even if you drink coffee. I'd be super curious to see if you guys drink coffee, if you've ever tried going without it. And also, what kind of coffee do you drink?
So I enjoy coffee, but I basically drink decaffeinated coffee every day. That's my new go-to. Coffee gives me the shakes and makes me just not hyperactive, but really gives me a buzz, like a proper buzz, and my jaws tense up and I start grinding my teeth. And I become, if I'm experiencing a bit of anxiety and I drink coffee, the anxiety just goes through the roof. So every morning I have decaf coffee. Every now and then I'll have a normal coffee, and it depends on the brand. Sometimes I'm okay, and sometimes I have major regret afterwards. So for me, it's hot. I do enjoy coffee, but as I say, it doesn't react well to my constitution. So I guess hot if you can use the loophole that decaf coffee is okay.
So in a word, I'll say hot. But now let's dive in. I love coffee. I'm responsible about caffeine. I love coffee. And I love that a lot of the research about coffee has been pretty positive over the past few years. What is coffee? Well, there are definitely different kinds. You're not dealing with the quote unquote category of coffee other than beans and roast. But there's a healthy way to do this. Personally, I love organic coffee, try to get away from those pesticides. And then I personally love espresso. I love making espresso, but I've been reading that paper filtered coffee actually filters out some compounds that can mess with your cholesterol. And thus, the healthiest coffee, based on my humble research, is paper filtered, pour over, organic coffee. With milk, without milk, whatever you want. I haven't personally found a way to merge espresso milk drinks, like a cortado or Gibraltar cappuccino, with that. However, I will give a shout out to a spot in Los Angeles called Bar 9 that has ditched traditional espresso machines, and they do I think it's a cold brew overnight espresso. And if you get a cappuccino there, the temperature is achieved by the milk steaming. And I should actually look into this because I feel like this would be doable. Anyways, right now, what am I doing? I'm using a Hario pour over. And if you get the steel one, then you can take it with you, and it's very cheap, very easy, very simple. You can travel with it and stuff, and you get some paper filters, and you're good to go. Okay, what about timing, right? People come up to me and they say, oh, I can't have coffee after this time of day or that time of day. Personally, I don't notice. If you're a health professional listening to this, and I'm totally wrong, call me and I need your advice. But personally, there have been nights when I've been at an Italian restaurant or something in Italy, or like on the beach in Spain, and I have an espresso at like 9 o'clock at night after dinner, and I'm fine. I go to sleep. I sleep great. Now maybe it's being in a nice place that is causing that to happen, but I don't really notice the effect of caffeine after at different times of day. I don't usually have espresso at 9:29. That's probably once in a while. I don't have very much caffeine, but then shouldn't I be caffeine sensitive, right? If I'm not having much and I'm drinking it throughout the day, then maybe. Oh, I'll say this though: I make coffee really weak. I make like the pour over coffee. I make it pretty quick. Espresso, I like to pay attention to what the roasters are saying. Try to get the weight right. You know, I do that whole thing. I try to mess around with it, dial in an espresso machine. But the pour over coffee makes it pretty weak. I have some in front of me right now, actually. So I'm gonna say this is hot. Caffeine's good, and apparently coffee is good for you. Warrants further research.
So I'm going to go out there and say that Claire is a machine. She drinks coffee without caffeine, which is, I don't know how that's possible. Sean knows coffee better than anyone I've ever known, and I am probably going to die from the coffee I drink out of plastic containers and all the chemicals that are probably in it. So I would suggest Sean and Claire's way 100%.
Can I quickly jump in? I don't know if you guys get this here. I don't know if it's a South African thing, but I've discovered a coffee, and I put that in, quotation marks. We call it Manna Brew, and it's actually made from a superfood called mesquite. So not only is it not caffeinated coffee, it's a superfood, and it tastes amazing. And I'm fussy with coffee. Even as a decaf drinker, I get grumpy if I get a bad cup of coffee. And it's really good. It's almost got a slight nuttiness and a slight sweetness. I don't drink coffee with sugar, but this one just has like a slight sweetness, and it's really amazing. I don't know if you guys get anything like that where you are, but that's my new favorite thing.
I've never heard of that. That's pretty interesting. Sean, have you heard of it?
I have not. I'm going to look this up. And I will say, broadly speaking, decaf coffee should still carry the benefits of coffee with respect to the various compounds in it and antioxidants in it that are apparently good for people. So decaf, and I agree with Claire, like the execution of a good coffee drink is make or break. If you have a bad cappuccino and that's the only cappuccino you ever had, then yours bad. And if coffee's like burned or something, whatever. And everything's so expensive now that if you're gonna buy a cup of coffee, you want it to turn out the way you're hoping. I definitely agree that a bad cappuccino can put you in a bad mood. So maybe that's bad for mental health. But a good cup of coffee is so nice. And I got to check out this other kind, because the healthier the underlying compounds, the more interested I am.
So we're gonna go with the no caffeine challenge. We're gonna say that's major cold. That is not hot, because caffeine is what keeps us going. And again, warning: drink at your own risk. But we all drink it. We all love it. So no caffeine challenge. I think
should we do another medical warning? I'm going to do another medical warning.
Yes.
Enhanced medical warning on this one. Okay, we're going to do a medical warning that, of course, you consult your doctor about caffeine usage. But if you're about to order coffee somewhere, okay, say you've done the no caffeine challenge, you're over it, you're back on the coffee. Medical warning about the coffee. You're going to order coffee. Size the place up. Because if you get a bad vibe, if you think, hey, I don't think this place is going to make a big cappuccino, they're probably not. You got to trust your instincts. And that bad cappuccino could put you in a bad mood. So there's another. So we were up to 3 warnings now.
Yeah, we're getting
us for the real. We give it to you.
We're getting out there now. This one should calm you. This next thing, this is meditation apps. Now, this one is brought to you by Yellow Brick Cinema, the best music platform on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. But meditation apps are a thing where people listen to music and they download, calming sounds from it. They listen to calming sounds, almost like YBC, but in an app form. And we do have it. We did have an app. Do have an app, and then we I'll have to fact check that. And people listen to this. This is what could be rolling thunderstorms at night. This could be water trickles. This could be bamboo water spouts. And So I'm going to say this is this is more for headspace and calmness. I'm going to say this is hot. This is great for whether you're at a spa. I mean, this is hands down 100% hot. This is good for spa. This is good for sleep. This is good for relaxation. This is good for just ambient music in the background where you don't even realize it's on, but it's on and it's already calming you without you even knowing it. So 100% hot on this one.
Yeah, totally unbiased approach. but no, I agree. Being as unbiased as possible, working for YBC. Yeah, in fact, I feel like I don't use it often enough, which sounds crazy. Working for, a relaxation, a meditation, and sleep music channel. I think I tend to take it in as I'm working and use it less intentionally than I should. And the days where I do use it intentionally, I really do find it helps, especially nighttime, trying to get to sleep after a hard day. Yeah, it's relaxing, it's soothing, it's something that I think is sort of universally beneficial to anyone. I mean, there's no harm in it. There really can be nothing, no negative side effects that I can think of.
Sounds a good sleep.
Yeah, I think it's so great. It's so, well, yeah, Headspace Program Sleep. It's so great. And we've crossed paths with some of these big apps. So we've done a fair amount of diligence before interacting with them in various ways. And we're fans. We generally, it's good when these technology tools are used for one's own wellness or one's own. And I'm going to say we gave Bluetooth devices a hard time. Okay. I'm pulling it back a little bit. Because if the device is causing the user to focus more on their health and you do so in a positive way, then that's good for them. Meditation and mindfulness products, and we'll throw in like we have friends in all of these categories, right? So breath work, of course, relaxing music. Relaxing music is probably the most user-friendly. Use it as you need it. We're not trying to dominate your life or get in front of you or push various products. It truly is just music, which is, again, thousands and thousands of years old. But all of these things that cause the user to just consider their health, take care of themselves, we're very big fans of. And we are customers of, we obviously make the music, right? So we love the music. But we also use some of these apps. Big thumbs up.
Yeah. So this is very hot. This one's hot. This one's great. Now we're going from mind and productivity. My mind's not working. I need some non-caffeinated caffeine right now. Yeah. We're going from mind and productivity trends right into diet and gut. Now, gut is related to the mind. So bad food you put in your gut is going to reflect your mind. So this connects perfectly. And this is going to go right into intermittent fasting. And I'm going to go out and say, even though I hate it, and because I love it's always the worst foods that taste the best, and it's always hard not to eat, but intermittent fasting I'm 100% with it. Now, keep in mind, Sean is going to put a big health. Should
we do a warning?
Yeah,
let's do a medical.
Yeah, this is a very big disclaimer on this. Do your research, talk to your doctor before even attempting to do any kind of fasting of any form, because there is a lot of risk that could happen. Blood sugar. There's so many different risks that could happen. So first, talk to your doctor before even attempting this. But from my personal experience, I have had great results in personal from intermittent fasting because I have Crohn's disease, which is basically my gut bacteria. It's basically an autoimmune condition that I developed a couple of years ago, and my gut microbiome is attacking itself, and it makes life much more difficult for me. I become much more tired. I have to watch everything I eat. It causes a lot of stuff, but intermittent fasting kind of almost resets stuff. I've done a 3-day fast as well, which was hard, and I do not suggest that for anyone. I do this is keep in mind. Please talk to your professional doctor before any kind of fasting of any form. But I've done that and try to reset my system, and I have definitely noticed that I feel much more energized. It was hard to do, but it was definitely re-energizing. So I would say intermittent fasting, you don't necessarily see the initial benefits, but there are great benefits from it. And again, health warning, but I'm going to say this is hot, and there's a lot of research on it. But yes, this one's hot for me.
Yeah, I think I would go with hot for some. I have heard amazing things. I have quite a few friends and family members who do it, swear by it, love it, and it helps them. I personally haven't tried it. Call it lack of self-discipline, but I do enjoy my coffee in the morning, even though it's decaf. It still has a little bit of caffeine. And I mean, I struggle with low blood pressure. So if I don't eat, I don't feel so good. I get very tired and struggle to get my day going. So for me personally, I need to eat in the mornings, but I have heard good things. I think it has its place if you know what you're doing, have checked with your doctor, don't have any underlying concerns. Yeah, I think it can be good.
It's an interesting one. I've done this, and I'd say I feel pretty good. It's all relative, right? It's like, well, what is the window? What is the fasting window? What's the feeding window? If it works for you, right? I'll tell you, I've done the opposite too. I've definitely eaten food late at night, and the interesting thing is you realize if you're at an event or something, and you have a late dinner and then a snack, and you're hanging out with people and you're snacking and stuff, you might be eating until very late at night, and then you wake up and you say, "Wow, my body was in digestion mode for like 20 hours that day, or 18 hours or something." So even just doing a 12-hour on-off intermittent fasting pattern, it can be more. It can require more intention than you assume, because food sneaks into different moments and different social events and stuff, and suddenly you're like, wow, my digestive system is always on. So I would say look at the window. I like what would I say? I like probably between a 16 and 18 hour fasting window. But that's, it's not that, it's funny, it happens by accident almost if you plan ahead so the kind of food you're eating and what you're drinking. Like black coffee, for example, is not going to break a fast. So you can like wake up, have a bunch of coffee. A cappuccino will break the fast. So if you say, well, I'll have my cappuccino at 11, I'll have a cup of coffee at 8 in the morning, and I'll have a cappuccino at 11. So you don't actually have to break the fast until later in the morning. And then I find I sleep way better thanks to that Oura ring. I find if I don't have food for a few hours before I sleep way better. So I'd say I somewhat intermittent fast by accident, and I just find that works really well. Definitely that medical warning again, because you got to be careful, right? If you got blood sugar issues or something going on or whatever, don't eat too little. Don't take care of yourself. Don't go against anyone's advice for your particular situation. But I would say personally, I would call this hot. I do a version of this.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And I again, with that medical warning, when I was doing a 3-day fast, after my 3rd day, I started getting really dizzy, and I almost was passing out. I just threw some eggs on the grill and just ate whatever I could just to get some food into me. So I would, this is, especially with Claire mentioning she's got low blood sugar, low blood pressure, and she needs food. This is why you have to consult with a doctor. Just don't take our advice for it. Just consult with the doctor first, and just see if it works for you. But in my experience, it has been beneficial, especially with having Crohn's. So also something that I've tried, moving on to the next thing, is raw food, carnivore, and vegan cycles. Now, this is an extreme diet. This is something that's I've tried the all carnivore diet. I would never do a vegan diet, But carnivore diet, I have 100%. I tried to commit myself, and I could, because I read a bunch of things online, and my girlfriend's father's a doctor. He told me, he's like, he was doing it too, and he's like, you should try. You should. It's good for Crohn's, and it kind of almost resets it. So I was really trying this, and after 3-4 days, I started getting headaches. I was feeling so miserable, and they said you have to break this point. I just could not do it. I gave up, and I wish I could reach that point, but I've heard only amazing things. If you look online, and again, another health warning for this is only do this as prescribed by a doctor, but I have heard of good success with carnivore, but it's something that I feel like you do have to stick with, and it's very hard, and it's very expensive as well. Eating steak every day is not something that's cheap. So I would say this one is kind of a hot, but I'm going to go with mediocre on this one.
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, any diet fads for me is a no. I just don't love diets. I prefer to just eat healthy, and I think everything in moderation, right? And as long as you're not suffering from something specific which needs a specific type of diet, for me, dieting for the sake of it, I don't know. Personally, just not too much of a fan.
So it's interesting, so putting all these together, it's a nuanced answer. I think that there's a benefit of elimination diets, which is actually the second order effect of them. It's not when you eliminate a lot of food, there's a bunch of unhealthy food you don't eat. The elimination theme isn't necessarily the reason you eliminate the unhealthy food. It's been told to me about keto and carnivore that the part of the benefit, it's not just being ketosis or what have you. It's that there's a bunch of other stuff you just don't eat. So if you're a healthy eater, you're probably not going to have to worry about this stuff anyways. If your health metrics are generally good, then you're probably not gonna see a huge difference going on one of these strict elimination diets, because you're already pretty healthy, and you moderate various things that would cause you to be unhealthy. But we'll also say that each of these extreme elimination protocols, another second order effect is more cooking, because there's more of a focus on ingredients, and so you're cooking more, and in cooking, you're eliminating a lot of the bad stuff and processed stuff. That can be good. So there are these indirect advantages doing these things that are these diets are very different from each other. There can be advantages when you get to the root of actual healthy eating, which is healthy ingredients, minimal processing and stuff. And I would also throw out a warning that there are loopholes where you can adhere to some of these diets but be extremely unhealthy. There are very, very unhealthy vegan. When it's like, oh, you want these vegan cookies? I'm not going to throw any particular cookies under the bus, but if there's a cookie and it's vegan and you eat 100 cookies, you're gonna have a problem. So there, and the same thing with carnivore. You can say, oh well, what does carnivore mean? Well, does carnivore mean I eat 100 hot dogs? Probably not a good idea, And then it's like, well, there's carnivore, and then there's carnivore, and then there's paleo carnivore, and there's. So I would say you got to be on the honor system. You got to keep yourself honest about this. That if you're going to do one of these protocols, I'll call it hot if focus is on healthy ingredients. But if you're doing the protocol and you treat it like a contract, and then you're looking at what are the loopholes in the contract, and I can technically eat 1,000 cookies today because they're vegan cookies, then you're probably defeating the point. So I would call this a hot with the caveat. And we should throw out another medical one. Why not? I think we're up to, I've lost count of the medical warnings, but try another medical warning. If you're okay, this is going to be, if you're allergic to food, don't eat that food just because it's on a special diet. And if you're supposed to eat it a certain way, use your head. But I will say that healthy ingredients are always healthy ingredients.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that the best way to do it is just eat healthy. There's no need for extreme. If you're overweight and you just go, I need to get on an extreme diet, I think it's counterproductive. I think if just easing into something that's more healthy, that's eating at appropriate times, eating in moderation, I think that's much more healthy approach. Again, I'm not your doctor, so ask your doctor what's best for you, because I don't want to give any advice that does any negative consequences. But I think, in my opinion, I think that having a just well-balanced diet is the best for you.
Well, you mentioned something that I totally skipped past because it didn't occur to me. But this is actually a huge issue, is obsession with diet and the effect that the topic of food and nutrients can have on mental health. This is very real. You can tell that I look at this more like a mechanic, right? So I'm specifically focused on, there's definitely food I like, but I'm focused on, if I eat this, then this happens, and there are these health outcomes, blah, blah, blah. That's sidestepping a huge issue, which is the whole dialogue around this and how it can make people really sad. It can cause disordered eating. It can cause obsessive behavior. So given that we're focused on improving people's moods, we're wellness content and stuff, you got to pay attention to this. And if extreme diets are an on-ramp to disordered eating or stress or anything like that, you can call it what it is. If something's causing stress, then there's got to be a better way to do it. Definitely want to eat healthy. So I don't know, if I went to my doctor and I said, I'll be really sad if I don't eat 100 cookies, he'll probably say like, yeah, but don't eat 100 cookies. Let's talk about this. Don't eat 100. But there is this middle ground where, yeah, some things are objectively good and bad, but there's a huge problem right now of businesses looking to capitalize on the emotions and the desires of customers, and then either sell them products that prey on those insecurities, or sell them snake oil type products that click in with some of these well-intentioned eating plans. Anybody who tells you that such and such, like just buy this and it'll click into whatever diet, you got to be really careful. You got to make sure that it's not just a marketing wrapper. I will say something I learned is a lot of, well, I got to be careful about the words. I don't know if it's a lot. Some processed food, and this is in all categories, including the health category, some processed food, they're really marketing businesses, and they're made by contract manufacturers that actually make food. So these brands fundamentally they have to be really splashy marketing propositions. They got to get your attention, and they have to find a way to make the food simply and cost effectively. And none of that sounds good for the customer's health, right? It sounds like the customer's health is a bonus. what the goal is really getting people's attention, and then executing on the food, and then logistics, getting it in the right places. Try to pay attention to all that. And if this becomes a sensitive topic, or like, it's causing stress, then that's a problem in itself. And you don't want to get too wrapped up in things that are ultimately causing trouble.
And if the box says real cheese, sometimes it doesn't mean it's real cheese. It's just a branding name called real cheese. So just keep that in mind too, that as Sean was mentioning, yeah, it's easy. I see this a lot too, is a bunch of these companies will just put a bunch of vitamins and everything in tubs and sell you this drink. There's no cheat codes in life. It's just hard work, which moves on to probiotics. A lot of people take probiotics. I specifically have to take probiotics for my gut, but I'm wondering if it's just marketing or if it's real effect. For me, I don't personally see any effect from it. I actually get negative effect typically when I take, and I just stopped taking my probiotics. I just don't see any real effect, especially someone with Crohn's. I almost see it's almost like a weird negative effect on my body. And I don't know if that's just specifically me, but have any of you ever take probiotics? Is it just marketing, you think, or is this, but I'm going to say this is not hot for me.
Probiotics is a weird one for me too, Evan. I've taken a lot of probiotics in my lifetime. And I feel like what I've learned is that it has to be a very, very high quality probiotic, which is generally quite expensive. And I think the form of the probiotic is also quite important. So for me, taking probiotic tablets, like you, just feels like it does nothing personally. But then, like, I've started buying from a good friend of mine who creates cultured yogurt from a very, very high quality probiotic. So something like that I find has an impact. I used to make kombucha back in the day. I think that possibly has a place, and for me personally is more beneficial than a lot of the medications, the actual tablets that are sold in a pharmacy. So I kind of agree with you that a lot of it's just people jumping on the bandwagon of probiotics are good. Okay, here's a probiotic in tablet form, cheaply made, and people just take it because that's the thing to do. So I think you've got to be careful what you're buying and what quality probiotic you're buying.
Does yogurt count? The bacteria in you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say hot. Boom. I'm gonna say. I agree with Claire. I agree with Evan. There's no shortcuts. You got to be careful what you're buying. But hey, it's hard to beat organic yogurt. It's pretty good.
I agree. Yep. I agree into the terms of, instead of taking a pill, eating yogurt or something of that nature, kombucha, or a physical drink or food versus a pill. I just feel like it's hard for me to think that just taking a pill is just going to solve your problems. Well, at least a gut-related pill, such as just probiotics, a bunch of vitamins and everything, and stuffed in a capsule. Now, getting into that, let's move on to experimental and kind of almost fringe trends. These are the wild ones. So this is the final home stretch here, where we're going to get into. Well, these are all very skeptical. Now, the first one's going to be earthing and grounding. This is where I've seen this trend everywhere, where you go outside and you stand on grass with your bare feet, and you just feel the earth. It's very. I feel like I have my hair is growing out. I feel like I have no shirt on right now, and I'm just walking around with, no feet with no sandals on my feet. It's very very hippie style feeling, but I've seen a lot of people do it. People say it definitely helps them. I don't have any grass by me. It's all, I live in a concrete jungle. So I don't know. I can't really give you, I'd love to give it an honest answer just instead of an objective, but I'm going to just go with this is kind of just, I'm going to go with this is a placebo effect for me, and this is not hot. But maybe you guys have different experiences because you live in more green areas.
Evan, I love the tone of your voice there. So you may judge me hard now.
I know where this is going.
I kind of buy into this one, not necessarily in the airy fairy way that you may take it though. I do find that taking my shoes off and planting my feet on grass or beach sand or something earthy does help me mentally. And it's not a super hippie approach. It's more, I guess it's probably just, I don't know, being connected to nature more than anything. Feeling the feeling of something under my feet. I generally don't like walking around barefoot. I hate the feeling of dirt on my feet. But if I go out and stand on, soft grass or go to the beach, I feel like it does help me a bit mentally. I don't know why, and I'm not claiming that I'm sort of being connected to the core of the earth or any like weird and wonderful things, but it helps me. That's all I know.
I'm going to have to go with hot on this one, right? Because what's the harm? Who knows if it works, but if I could match the sereneness of Evan's voice by doing grounding, I'm there. I do this. So listen for a second. The beach. I walk around on the beach a lot. What is the beach as good as grass?
I don't think it. I mean, I guess you're connected to Earth, but I think that I think maybe it's like a halfway. Maybe I have to do more research on this. We'll have to get back to it next week. Maybe I'll do a science experiment.
We got to try it.
Yeah,
try it. We got to do the experiment. Okay, so we're gonna put this on the experiment list. I don't think we have to do a medical warrant. I think it just goes straight to the experiment list.
Yeah. Well, if you walk, medical warning: if you walk bare feet in Skid Row in Los Angeles, then there is a high chance. Yeah,
that's not organic.
Yeah,
maybe it is organic. That's a glass out of sand.
Yeah.
But walk on grass, not glass, and then tell us how it works for you.
Yeah, perfect. So this one is we're going with a little hot on this one. Skepticism, but I will get back next week to let you guys know if this is one of those topics. Now there's a lot of snakes over here and wild creatures, so I gotta be careful. Now next one is getting sunlight, and here is called it the human charging light devices, but in reality it's just getting sunlight, going out there and getting sunlight. It's not really experimental, but I think this is a huge first off hot, literally and physically, but this is something that's definitely needed. Vitamin D is very necessary. You feel better when you see sunlight. I need to get out more. I find when I had to move my office from my second bedroom into my living room because there was no sunlight, and I started becoming depressed. I know I have giant windows, I see the city, and so I'm like, okay, now I feel much better. So I 100% think this is a hot one. Hot.
There she go. So you say hot? Okay, Claire says hot. Yeah.
100%.
Perfect.
I gotta agree. I mean, well, first of all, it would be radical if we took a position against Maybe that's what we need, though, right? To really, we need some edgy opinions. They're like, no sunlight. Remember in The Simpsons, and Mr. Burns blocks out the sun?
I think Bill Gates is trying to do that or something. Is it someone like that? So
Doesn't do that. It'd be funny if we're taking this like Mr. Burns did nothing wrong. Okay, No, I think that this it's good. Now you got to be careful, okay? Because I'm one of those people. I live in California. There's a lot of sun, and don't get sunburns, right? I'm not gonna do a medical warning. I'm just gonna say use common sense. Don't get sunburns. I wear a lot of hats. I wear a lot of hats in life, but I wear a lot of hats when I'm walking around too. And you don't want to get sunburns. Sunburns do. There's cumulative damage and it gets a little dangerous as you get older. But the vitamin D, the sun, we live on this earth. I clip this. It's just, we live on this earth. We're meant to live on this earth. So we have to embrace the sun and plants and, the sunrise and sunset, circadian rhythm. I think this is all super important. I think that I spent a lot of time indoors at different parts of my life, in like offices, and then I'll tell you another one is if you're in production, right? You're producing videos and that sort of thing. Sometimes you're shooting at night and you don't see the sun for a long time. If you're shooting nights in the winter, then you don't see the sun for it's possible to go days without seeing the sun, and it changes you. So you gotta. I'm gonna agree that if I were living in Springfield on The Simpsons and Mr. blocked out the sun, I would take issue with that. I'd say we're 3 for 3. We think that getting some sunlight is good for people.
Yep. Perfect. All right, now let's get into the real last couple that are very experimental. Here we go. Now, we all know that sunlight is great for you, but biofrequency stickers and EMF shields. Now, this is you'll have to look most of this up. I'm a tech guy, and I still don't understand this, and I would say BS thing is going right off right now. Biofrequency stickers and EMF shields. I honestly, there's so many other things in this world that are probably harming us. Processed foods, a lot of topics we've already talked about. The coffees I drink every morning, I'm not too worried about biofrequency and stickers and whatever else is out here for us. But maybe that's just a very harsh opinion, and maybe Claire and Sean have different opinions on this. Curious to find out. A hot one.
Yeah, I share your opinion. I don't know too much about it, but just the word sticker alone, alarm bells are ringing.
What is this sticker? I'm looking up what the sticker is right now. What is it? It's called a Bio Shield sticker.
Biofrequency stickers. No.
Biofrequency sticker.
Yeah. No. Let me
Biofrequency sticker.
Is that
vibrance calm down
against that radioactive energy, or
maybe it's like,
I think we gotta start selling these stickers.
Yeah,
you put on the sticker, and okay. Well, the sticker. I don't know. I think maybe I'll try this. So we're gonna put this on the try it list, the experiment list, the stickers. I will say, Evan, you're smart. So when the EMF is the other one, EMF?
Yeah, magnetic field, like a shield,
Okay. What about a Faraday bag? Faraday bag for your phone? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not too I'm probably okay. So here's my opinion about Faraday bag is, if someone wants to get into whatever you have, they're already into it. There's nothing that's gonna stop them from getting into it. Whether it's, there's so many. There's so many.
That's security. That's security.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Faraday bags. It is for security, correct?
Well, a combo, right? So we got all this radiation, and we in particular, we're on YouTube. We got all these mobile devices. I got a phone for this YouTube account. I got so there's computers everywhere. Walking around, might have sounds very suspicious, but might have 1, 2. Got the Android phone to see how Android apps are running, right? So all these different phones. And you gotta think, well, hold on a second. If you're carrying around one of these things, then you might be fine. But if you're carrying around like 2, 3 of these, and they're all running, is a Faraday bag going to protect you from too much phone radiation? Does it prevent the phone radiation from getting to the user?
I'm going to be really honest with you, Sean, right now. I have an Android phone, a laptop, 3 screens, a tablet in front of me. I have 2 3D printers. I am Chernobyl right now. So I'm gonna have to get a Faraday bag for myself. I don't think that's gonna.
I was gonna say like Faraday bag for the phone, Faraday suit if you're at Evan's apartment.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea either.
We'll start selling with a YBC Faraday bags that you mentioned. It'd be like COVID all over again, but for protection of wireless devices.
This isn't a bad idea. You're hearing it live, but this isn't. You know how they do, like the body armor sweatshirt, which I don't know if this works.
I'm going to find out.
But a Faraday clothes, they make Faraday fabric because that's how they make the Faraday bag.
What about Faraday compression socks?
I think that's where this is headed.
I mean, I don't know anyone else doing it, so this might be a new market. And
does it work though? Because I've tested this before. You put the phone behind a barrier, and then you call the phone, and the phone doesn't ring. So therefore, the signal is contained in whatever the barrier is. Also, the signal's not getting out, and signal's not getting in. So do these fabrics and technologies protect the user from, if you're walking around with a phone in your pocket all day long, do they protect the user from that radiation?
I just don't think they do enough. If for certain things, like there's obviously government buildings and certain areas where it's basically a Faraday building where they contain, you can't get nothing comes in, nothing goes out. But I think that we're on our phones in such an environment that I don't think that they produce enough radiation that as long lasting. I mean, who knows? Maybe we're all going to turn into, the world's going to look like, what's that movie called? I think I need a Faraday bag. My brain is just shot. But idiocracy, it's maybe that's the future in 10 years because we just realized that it's too late. We should have all been carrying Faraday bags. But in my opinion, maybe just not sleep with your phone on your ear, sleeping on top of your phone. Maybe that's probably but maybe the headphone. I don't really think that there's enough radiation that's coming off the phones that is really going to do harmful effects more so than your everyday products going outside in the city and getting fog pollution. I mean, there's so many different ways of, there's a show back in the day, I think it was 101 Ways to Die or 1,001 Ways. But there's just so many different things in our lives. If we start doing all these things, we'll look like the crazy person. And I think there's extremes to it. And this is my own judgmental opinion, but I don't think I think they're not hot. A hot one.
I'm calling it hot. And I'm saying that we're going to do Faraday clothes, Faraday compression tights. And if you see somebody walking around in like a Faraday spacesuit, don't run the other way. Say, where'd you get that? And depending on when you listen to this, they probably got it from us.
All right. You'll see Sean on Mars in the next run to on a SpaceX mission. So wearing his full Faraday socks. This will be we can't test this next week, so we won't be able to have conclusive results then, but we'll try our best to simulate what that would be like. All right, so we have 3 last topics. Now, I'm just going to pick one I'm just going to talk, and you guys get to pick the last topic that we should talk about here. I don't want to carry people on too long. Thank you for watching. If you're falling asleep, well, I hope our voices made you fall asleep very calmly. Now, the last 3 are kind of controversial. One is microdosing. Now, this is very, I don't know how this hits YouTube's topic, but this is a very big topic on YouTube. And then there's oxygen therapy, hyperbaric chambers, and then a more softer version is ice cold showers every morning. Now, I've talked about this in the beginning of the podcast, but we can also go over that. So I'll let you guys choose which topic we should choose, because maybe we have had experiences with all 3 of these, and maybe we haven't.
We have microdosing, we have oxygen, and we have
ice cold showers. Yep.
Which we did touch on the cold one.
Okay.
So we got the showers. The oxygen I haven't done. The microdosing, I want to be very clear, I haven't done. But I guess microdosing what? I don't think I've microdosed anything. I haven't microdosed drugs, but I also haven't microdosed like coffee, right? I'm making the coffee. We're going big with we're not going big, but we're going robust with coffee. I don't microdose cookies. That's full dose. So, yeah.
I like to call it microdosing cookies. That way I feel healthier.
Yeah.
A little bit of bites.
So I probably should. I gotta set them out. But I don't know. The microdose, they're probably talking about microdosing various, it's nootropics? It's like nootropic compounds?
Well, it's a little more, it's more of psilocybin and LSD type of microdosing for health benefits. Now this is on the list. This is actually, it depends if we choose to this topic. But yeah, this is a very common thing that's people do for health benefits. Now, people do these, take these for recreational use, but people take them for health benefits as well. So, and this also goes along with what's it's the oils for the marijuana oils.
Oh yeah, CBD oil.
CBD, yeah, just like almost, yeah, similar to this.
Listen, big business. Microdosing, big business.
Huge.
Definitely big business. I think we got to throw in so I don't think we need a medical warning. Do we need a medical warning? Well, we already covered the medical warning for the cold showers, but now I think we need a legal warning, which is consult your local laws. Because I don't know if this is it's a big, I mean, it's like on the podcast scene too. It's pretty, this I read that book by a great Dr. Rick Strassman, very interesting guy, which was one of the early DMT studies, and subsequently microdosing hot compounds. I don't know, I feel like it's one of those things where it's very interesting, but I can't speak to it. I don't have any experience with it.
So
is it hot or not? It's a hot topic, but because it's definitely, it gets a lot of listens, but
yeah,
I haven't pursued it.
So this is where I'm going to go out there and say this is depending on what you do. Okay, first off, I'm not going to advertise any of this. This is something that, as Sean said, keep within local law. I wouldn't even attempt any of this. But there is mushrooms that has history. I mean, you hear this on whether it's Joe Rogan podcast or lots of podcasts have talked about this before. Mike Tyson has taken these. There's a lot of famous examples of this. And I have, in the past, I went through a state of depression, taken depression medication, and I just did not think that was the right way for me. And I was trying an alternative. And I found that what I've taken, I did it one time and I go, wow, it changed my life. It got rid of all bad thoughts, helped me. Now, again, I do not condemn. I do not say I don't want to prescribe this to anyone. So do your research, look online, just read about it. Get interested, know the facts. But I do believe that this is definitely something that has 100% helped me. And it's not something that I take would take for a pleasure. But I have tried, and it has successfully cured every depression, anxiety. I felt great and everything. But again, this is my personal experience. That doesn't mean your experience is going to be different. Just like carnivore diet, some people found great success with it. Others have not. Others had medical issues with it. So again, I would only do stuff that's up to your local laws. But from my experience, I think this is for certain categories of certain things. I think this is very hot. Now there are a lot of categories in the microdosing world, and I would avoid a lot of those. At most, maybe all of them. But yeah, there is health benefits, definitely health benefits that have been studied throughout years. I mean, there's actual huge studies on them, and they have been, and they do also get handed out by doctors in some countries and states. So depending on what you're getting, but yeah, I do think this is hot in some categories, and for certain people, I think this is very controversial, but it is definitely something that we should do more research about. And I think it could be potentially big in the future. If it's natural. I believe in natural.
Well, it's a huge field, right? It's really interesting how there's obviously going to be a lot more research into it. And I think that there's going to be remarkable discoveries coming from it. And it's one of those things where there are, in a lot of different countries, there's laws getting in the way of the research, and research is
a hot one.
Hold on. Did I disappear? I disappeared. Yeah. In a lot of countries, there's laws getting in the way of the research, and and then there's research that's expensive. But I think it's going to yield remarkable insight into how the human body works, and really how the mind works. It's fascinating that there are natural compounds that affect the mind in different ways and can be very beneficial to people.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Claire to get on here and be like, "Well, I got a story for you guys. This is a hot."
Sorry to disappoint Evan. I'm squeaky clean.
Okay. Well, so am I. I've never done it. Do you think this is? I mean, there has been lots of research in a lot of things. I mean, CBDs. It's across California. CBD oils. For instance, CBD oil. I had a bunch of mosquito bites in California. My friends sprayed CBD on my mosquito bites. I was like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden they stopped itching. I don't know if this is in my head. I don't know if this is a placebo effect, but maybe this is the natural. I mean, for snake bites, they use venom. They use its own venom. I think that a lot of cures for nature come from nature itself. Well, I guess everything comes from nature if it's compounded enough. But the core of a lot of cures for nature is just nature itself. It's very odd, a hot one.
I think that's where a lot of this stuff points, right? So, and these compounds themselves are made of things that it's hard to really isolate the effect of what's going on when these research fields are
A hot one.
they're hampered by local and nationwide laws. So I think that, like a lot of science, we'll be looking back in 10, 15 years and saying, wow, there was this remarkable discovery yet to be made 10 years ago, and it led to better insight and so forth. And this has been a conflict for thousands of years, where you have these barriers to scientific discovery. I would just say that it's not a field that I know anything about, don't have any experience in it, and don't, well, okay, I was going to say, don't cite this podcast as a legal defense. It could get in trouble for using heavy-duty nootropic, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Just anything.
Like that.
Yeah.
Don't. Well, okay, that's even better. Don't cite this podcast as a legal defense for anything. But I mean, well, if we do get cited, just make sure to link it, right? Link, because right. It means one thing. No, but yeah, it's a tough one. It's like there's much bigger podcasts that are. I think Joe Rogan probably created a lot of the interest in the field. So that was certainly the reason I read that book. I think it's The Spirit Molecule. So this is obviously high level. We're not saying anything new in that regard, other than have very limited experience with it. But I think in like 10 years, given all the other technological capabilities that are emerging in medical science, we'll actually have some pretty good insight into what's happening with these different compounds.
Yeah, and I definitely think that the pharmaceuticals is definitely a huge play. I mean, I'm a little bit against the whole. I know I understand capitalism. I don't want to get into politics, but I understand they have to make money. So you got to keep your customers. And if there's something that out there that can treat and potentially, help you, that would get you off, then I could see that would be a huge fighting point for a company. So, I mean, I don't want to get into any politics or anything like this, but yeah, as Sean was saying, yeah, I think we're going to find a lot of research, new research now, especially with AI, that's going to embrace new methods or find better cures, more natural cures, maybe stuff that we haven't discovered yet, or maybe mixing two things that maybe will be the newest cure, maybe the new Neosporin for our cuts. Who knows? A hot one.
You heard it here, everybody.
The new Neosporin is coming soon. You just got to wait for it. But seriously, thank you guys, every one of you, for listening to this in our hour and 30-minute podcast. Thank you to Sean and Claire for time to answer these hot or not questions. We found a lot of topics that were actually hot, and we found some that were not. So give us your thoughts in the comments, what you think is hot and what you think is not, and what you've maybe done, what's worked for you, and what relaxes you. And next week, we'll report back with some socks, with some earthing, and what else were we going to do? I think we're going to test one other thing here. Oh, yeah. The patches, frequency stickers.
Yeah, we're testing stickers.
I looked them up and I found some.
Those stickers. But I'm definitely going to test putting stickers on my arms. We're going to see whatever kind of stickers are around the house, and I'll report back.
All right, sounds good. I'll get the real ones, but if I don't report back, you know what happened. Don't get stickers and put them on your arm.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys, everyone. And then next week, we will have a new talk. But until then, thank you.